understand everything in English. You listen to music, you watch podcasts, you can hear conversations. However, when it's time to speak, you freeze. And that is such a frustrating thing, but it's a very common thing that happens. By the end of this video, not only will you understand why this happens, but I'll give you strategies on how to fix it. Hello, everyone. I'm Devin Bruce. I'm the founder and CEO of the English Communication Academy, and we help non-native English speakers in healthcare communicate effectively with their patients, colleagues, and staff. And the tips I'm sharing today has helped many doctors and other healthcare workers with not freezing when they speak. And many people have gone on to speak at international conferences, high-stakes meetings, and in emergency rooms. But before we get into the reasons why you're freezing when you're speaking, I just want to talk about the myths first, because a lot of people think that these are the reasons why, and they're not. So these are the top 3 myths as to why people think that they freeze when they speak. The first myth is that they feel like they need more vocabulary. And this is true if you are a beginner and you're just learning how to be fluent. But when you're already fluent like you, and you use it every day at healthcare, and you don't need more English, it's not about the vocabulary. Knowing words doesn't necessarily mean that you're a fluent speaker. Myth number 2, and this is a bit of a hot take, so hear me out. Number 2 is if you think in English, you'll just automatically start speaking better. While this is true in some ways, because when you think in the language that you speak, it does help. I'm learning Arabic, and that helps me immensely when I'm speaking it. However, that's not enough. There's other things that you need to do to help with that. And so the misconception is, oh, okay, if I just build that muscle of thinking in English, then boom, I'm going to automatically start speaking fluently. And that's not necessarily true. And the third myth, which is also a bit of a hot take, is that I'm not confident enough. While confidence is one of the main reasons why people have issues when it comes to speaking, there are a lot of things that go with it. For example, confidence is the result, not the starting point. So you have to do a lot of things before you can become confident. So have you heard any of these myths? Comment below. I'd like to hear about them. Now, let's start getting into the reasons as to why you freeze up when you speak. One reason could be cognitive overload, and that's because understanding is passive, but speaking is active. So when you are in the middle of something, especially something hectic that happens in healthcare all the time, your brain is trying to construct sentences, think of what to say, recall words, and pronounce them, all in real time. That can be a lot when you are, let's say, working in an ER. I had a nurse I was working with, and that was one of her main problems. So one way to fix this is to chunk. Chunking means instead of thinking of English word for word, like, how are you? You think of the chunk. How are you? Or instead of, I need to call the patient, you think, I need to call the patient. When you chunk, it just makes things so much easier, because you're not having so much of a mental load for every single word. That's very helpful when you already know the language. All right, the second reason why that you are freezing when you're trying to speak is because you have a fear of judgment. This is a very, very common problem with the people that we work with in the academy, and also that was one of the main reasons that a lot of people came to me back when I was an English coach. So many people fear that they're going to speak wrong, or they're going to be viewed as less than, which is very understandable when you're working in healthcare, because people not only look up to you as a leader, but they're coming to you for something that is wrong with them. So this fear really keeps people stuck and freezing when they're trying to speak. A very quick fix for this is what we call the 3-second rule, which means if you hesitate for more than 3 seconds, just say whatever comes to your mind. It forces you to get comfortable with speaking. Now, I wouldn't recommend that, if you're in the middle of something serious, but when you are doing something not serious and you can be more aware of it, That's a great way to fix this quickly. And the third reason why you could be freezing when you're speaking is because of a lack of practice. Now, I'm sure a lot of you use English every single day in healthcare, and so you're actually speaking English. However, that is in a high pressure situation, meaning you're at work, you might be in the ER, you might be giving a medical presentation, you might have to speak up at a meeting. Those are all high pressure situations, and you're not really getting a chance to practice. You could also be doing things very passively, like watching a movie or listening to music or listening to a podcast. A fix for this is to learn the shadow technique. And I'll do another video about that. But basically, the shadowing technique is when you repeat out loud immediately what someone says. It forces your mouth to get used to how English is spoken. And it also gets you in the flow of the rhythm of English as well. Now, if any of these reasons are why you freeze when you speak, let's talk about how to actually fix them. The first thing you can do is the Fluency Sprint Challenge. And for 7 days, you just set a timer for 3 minutes and you just speak. That's it. You speak. And it could be about anything. You can just talk about what you did today. You can talk about what you're cooking for dinner. You can talk about the coworker that you don't like at work. It could be about anything. The whole point is for you to just talk for 3 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, or if you make a lot of mistakes, that's okay. The whole point is for you to just talk. This is one of those low pressure situations that I'm constantly talking about. A good way to track your progress is to record yourself. You'll be really surprised in 7 days how much of a change that you'll have with your confidence and your overall fluency, because you're giving yourself opportunities to speak when you don't have to be on it all the time. Another way to fix this is to find a fluency partner, even alone. So obviously, finding a fluency partner could be someone that you practice with, like a family member or a close friend. If you want to challenge yourself, you can ask someone that you don't really know too well. A lot of people, when they have the courage to do that, they actually find that that's very rewarding because it's putting yourself out there in a new way. And it develops a friendship or a business partnership or something like that as well. So you're actually killing 2 birds with 1 stone when you go outside of your comfort zone a little bit. But if you don't have anyone to practice with, you could use an AI voice assistant like ChatGPT, Siri, or Google Assistant. So what you can do is you can say something and just let AI respond, because that forces you into some form of real-time conversation, or I should say a real-time exchange. Another way that you can fix this is what we call the speak first, think later, also known as the no hesitation rule. So what you do is you set a timer for 60 seconds and you just describe an object in your room out loud. It could be anything, your bed, your book, the TV screen, anything that you can just look at. And you just speak about it for 60 seconds. It's very similar to the first one, but this one is just for a shorter period of time. So this is an even better way if you are like, I don't have the time to do it. You have 1 minute to do this. Everybody can find 1 minute. I was working with someone who was a single mom. She was a surgeon and she really wanted to improve her communication with her staff. And she didn't really have a lot of time. So what she did was she did this technique while she was cooking dinner with her kids. So she talked about the food that she was cooking. And because she was cooking dinner, she just set the timer for 1 minute chunks while she was cooking. When you have to describe something that you don't really think about, that helps with your fluency because it's helping you think on the spot. And again, the goal here is momentum, not perfection. Comment below which tip that you're going to try. I'd love to hear about it. All right. So to recap, when you freeze when you speak, it's usually not because you don't have enough vocabulary or you're not confident enough, or if you're not thinking in English enough. Usually it's something else like cognitive overload, or you have a big fear of judgment, or sometimes it's just simply because you don't have enough opportunities to speak. And there's a lot of ways to combat this. You can do the Fluency Spirit Challenge for 7 days. You can find a fluency partner with others, or you can even use AI. And you can try the no hesitation rule. Just find something that you want to talk about for 60 seconds. And if you're sick and tired of freezing every time that you speak, We do have a free 5-day frustrated to fluent challenge you can take on your own. It's designed for busy healthcare professionals. So that way it only takes a few minutes a day. And many people have seen lots of great results with them. If you're interested in taking that, the link is in the description box below. And if this video resonated with you and you found it helpful, please share this with other non-native English speakers in healthcare. I'd like to help as many people as I can. And if you want to keep going and you want to learn some more tips for your career, check out these videos. These will help you too. All right, that's it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Take care.